Hey, Marty here. Welcome to the Sublime to the Ridiculous video blog edition. Boom. I'm going to talk to you today a little about income taxes. Don't worry, it's a cute story. I'm not trying to get anybody upset because we all do get upset about our taxes, don't we? But it's about me Grandpa Joe, me Pops, and Mr. Donahue, who was Grandpa Joe's taxman accountant for the longest time. I'll start with saying that I remember Grandpa Joe, I'm not sure if he was bragging or complaining, but how for 1 year back in the early 1950s, he paid Barclay's salary. Not Charles, but Alban. Alban Barkley was the vice president under Harry Truman, and there were a couple years there where Joe paid enough in taxes to pay the vice president's salary. So that's no small tax bill, even back in 1950, right? Then there was the year that Joe was curious what he'd be paying in taxes exactly, so he gave the old man all the paperwork and everything and said, "Billy, why don't you see if you can figure out what my taxes are going to be?" So Dad looked over the numbers and everything and did some summing and cross-referencing and whatnot, and then later on, then he had a number, and then later on Mr. Donahue did the taxes, and it turns out Dad was only $10 off in the tax bill that his father, me Grandpa Joe, would have. And Joe says, "Hell, why am I paying Donahue? Why don't you just do the taxes for me, Billy?" And Dad said, No. You're paying Donahue because he knows what line, what numbers go on. I don't know that. I can crunch the numbers and give you an idea, but I don't know what goes where. You want a professional accountant doing that. And so Mr. Donahue continued being Joe's accountant. Now, even that led to some interesting cases, though, because Joe was a horse trader. A lot of us are still to this day. I know I do it to a point. But anyway, Joe would, trade this work for that work, or this appliance for that appliance, or whatnot. And then Donahue would come over to the house to go over everything to figure out, what Grandpa Joe's income and outgo was. And he said, "Well, Joe, you're listing a fence here. What did that fence cost?" And Joe says, "A cow." "I can't put that down on the paper, Joe." And my grandfather said, "Yeah, but that's what that fencing cost me. I traded a guy a cow." And, it went round and round like that until 1 year Dad started sitting in on all of these sessions between Mr. Donahue, the accountant, and me Grandpa Joe. And Mr. Donahue would say, "Okay, Joe, you got some fencing here. How did you get it?" "I traded it for a cow." And Mr. Donahue would look over at Dad, and Dad would go, "Put $400. And he'd put $400 for that. "Joe, it says here you got this welding machine. What'd you pay the welder for?" "What'd you pay for the welder?" "I traded a car for it." Donahue would turn and look at Dad, and Dad would say $370. And they'd go on like that, Dad translating Grandpa Joe's horse trading into dollar amounts so that Mr. Donahue could get them down on the paper so that he could file me Grandpa Joe's taxes. Fun stuff. Thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe, please comment in the comment menu, share if you really like to. Thanks for listening. This is Marty going from the Sublime to the Ridiculous. I guess fencing for a cow would be worth $400, eh? I know I'll never pay the vice president's salary.